Hello everyone. The topic that we will be discussing is the Norman Conquest. Let's get started. So before Norman Conquest, there was a period called Anglo-Saxon period or Old English period. So with the Norman Conquest, it marked the end of that period, and इसके बाद का जो period होगा that is called Anglo-Norman period. So let's get started. So in early January, Anglo-Saxon king Edward the Confessor, जो king थे वहाँ के, he died childless immediately, and immediately there were several claims for his throne. बहुत सारे claims थे, like I want to become the king, I want to become the king. So but later on the king was Harold Godwinson. So let's see who was he. Harold Godwinson, he was the Earl of Wessex and Edward's brother-in-law. And ऐसा, according to history, it is said that he happened to be the shadow king for many years. He took care for all the royal duties that Edward didn't care to. And according to like history again, his father Godwin has also provided the same service to Edward when he came to throne in 1042. After many years of exile in Normandy, where he fled to escape the Danish invasion in England. So I guess I have explained in the previous video about the Danish law, जो वहाँ का when the Danes have invaded and then they captured that area and named it Danes law. तो वहाँ से he like escaped from there in a hideout, we can say that, in Normandy, France, which is in France. It is believed that Edward appointed Harold as his heir when on his deathbed. जब वो मरने वाले थे तब उन्होंने ऐसे अपॉइंट किया. He got the immediate approval of the council. Council क्या है यहाँ पे? The council are the group of people जो कोर्ट वगैरह में होते हैं, जो डिसाइड करते हैं कि हाँ इसे किंग बनाना चाहिए, इसे किंग नहीं बनाना चाहिए. Meanwhile उस टाइम क्या होता है? In northern France, William the Duke of Normandy. अब this is the king who will like play a major part in the Norman conquest. Watched with increasing rage. वो बहुत गुस्से से like he was saying कि क्या हो रहा है, वो यहाँ पे जाके king बन गया, because Harold Godwin जो थे, he was captive. He was held as captive of William. So here, Harold Godwinson has sworn his support. Let's see why he's angry for William's claim to the throne, a promise which he made since he was William's captive at the time. William reasoned his claim. Now William also wants to become the king. वो ऐसा, he reasoned it. He gave like so many reasons that why he is the most legitimate king. But although it was wrong, but still uh, he gave that. He was now let's see who was he. He was the bastard son of Robert the One of Normandy, and his link to English royal family, like how he established his link. His link to English royal family came to the Edward the Confessor's mother. Edward की जो मम्मी थी, she was Emma of Normandy, and her father was William's paternal grandfather. So William claimed that as a cousin of the late king the Edward the Confessor, he had right to the throne. Now, so as he was also the only son, so he inherited his father's dukedom because he was the duke, so duke kingdom, at a tender age of 7, and undoubtedly he has proven to be a tactile and brutal leader. He had also feuds with the surrounding dukes, and in fact, King of France, Henry the First, he was having feud with this king also. Feud is like dushmani. So, and all the former ally. He was also the former ally, but now he is having feuds with all the neighboring kingdoms. So, and ambition burned brightly within him because he wanted to become the king. The last contender had the weakest claim. अब देखते हैं इसका last contender कौन था. पहला was Harold Godwin. Second was William Duke of Normandy, and next let's see third. Third is Harold Hardrada of Norway. He was the weakest king or claim. Not king, the claim for the throne. He was encouraged to make a bid for the crown by Tostig Godwinson. अब Tostig Godwinson कौन था? He was estranged brother of Harold Godwin. Estranged is like no more, there no more brothers, और कुछ feud वगैरह हो गए होंगे उन दोनों के बीच में. तो क्या किया Tostig Godwinson ने? He encouraged him that you also go and claim your throne. So complicated political maneuverings in England and Scandinavia had followed the death until in 1035 of his stepfather Nut the Great, King of England, Denmark and Norway. Let's see, अब आता है important part. there were many several battles, but there are two battles which are important. One is Battle of Stanford and one is Battle of Hastings. So let's see what happened in Battle of Stamford. The invasion begins. The Battle of Stamford Bridge. Okay, so Stamford Bridge में जो था battle होने वाला था. Harold Hadreda left Norway in August. He left in August, collecting men and allies in Shetland and Orkney before meeting up with Tostig Godwinson on the northeast coast of September 8. Harold had up to 15,000 men in almost 300 longship. और Tostig के पास ज़्यादा वो नहीं थे, men नहीं थे and ज़्यादा equipments नहीं थी, and he has smaller force of only 12 ships. King Harold Godwinson was ready to meet the expected invasion from the south by William of Normandy. He knew that ऐसा कुछ होने वाला है, so he was ready with all those equipments and everything. So, however, as September approached, he had to let many of his soldiers go as they were needed to gather the harvest, because of course that time nation was a farming nation. So जितना भी revenues आते थे, it was from farming only. So of course he has to leave them. Learning अब क्या होता है, अब next चीज़ ये होता है कि learning that Norse army had not only landed but also captured York. And who were Norse? Norse were the people of Norwegian. Remember this. जो Norwegian के जो सिपाही army ये लोग थे, they were called as Norse army. So they have captured York. So King Harold gathered his men. He is Harold Godwin. So he gathered his men and made the journey from London to Yorkshire in just 4 days. Hadreda, who was waiting for supplies at the Stamford Bridge, was caught completely off guard. So as we know, Hadreda was also waiting because he also wanted to claim for the throne. Now he is completely off guard क्योंकि उसे पता नहीं था कि ऐसा भी कुछ होने वाला है. And जो Harold Godwin था, he came for the Norse army. वो Norse army को defeat करने के लिए वो आ रहे थे. The exact location of the battlefield is unknown, but according to the folk culture or local lore, it is said that it is in the east of river Devon in southeast of Stamford Bridge in an area called Battlefloods. At the start, the Norwegians were divided by the river, east side, and the two armies met the Vikings on the west and east of the river. Were either killed or fled across the bridge. सब मरे गए. And who were Vikings? अब don't get confused because Norse and Vikings are same. They are from Scandinavia. दोनों Norwegian में है. So Vikings क्या थे? वो लोग they usually lived in sea, or they were like pirates. No, we cannot say pirates, but yeah, they were from the seafarer type person थे वो लोग, but they all were from Norwegian, Scandinavia. Okay, so Norse then formed a shield to meet the incoming English, but the battle lasted for hours. Eventually, the English troops won, and they were able to force their ways through the Norse defenses. And eventually, it marks the end of Harold Hadreda of Norway and Tostig Godwin, both of them. Now let's see the most important part of this Norman conquest is the Battle of Hastings. And remember the dates please, because it is very important. It can come in, it is important from the net point of view, from gate and maybe college exam. So by August, so क्या हुआ था Norman conquest कब हुआ था? 1066 AD. So by August 1066, William had the key support of French nobles as well as the Pope. So उस time पे Pope का support होना is like very 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 nice, we can say that. Exact number of tubes that they raised were around 7,000 to 12,000 depending upon the swords, because जितने swords होंगे उतने ज़्यादा swordsmen होंगे. After waiting for favorable winds, they waited for 8 weeks, approx 8 weeks. They landed at Pevensey Bay in Sussex in September 28. Now the King Harold जो थे, he is अभी उन्होंने जीता है सारा जो Battle of Stamford, so he hurried from Yorkshire with 7,000 men behind him to face the Norman army. अब Norman army कौन थे? The people from Normandy, France. ये है Norman. On October 14, the two sides met near Hastings. अब यहाँ पे इसको Battle of Hastings इसलिए बोला जाता है क्योंकि Hastings में ये battle हुई थी. Harold initially had the advantage, forming a shield. लेकिन बट स्टिल दे फॉर बिकॉज उनके पास एडवांटेज क्यों था, बिकॉज ही हैज़ लेड हिज ट्रूप इन द माउंटेन टाइप थिंग, सो ही हैड एडवांटेज. सो बट फर्स्ट फेज दे वॉन, बट उन्होंने बैटल नहीं जीता था. अब क्या हुआ था कि when the rumor started that William had been killed, there was panic and some of the soldiers turned pale and red. पैनिक शुरू हो गया, लाइक हमारा किंग हार गया या फिर मर गया, तो फिर अब तो लाइक वी कैन नॉट विन दिस बैटल. बट सारे लोग, when everyone came to peace was restored when William showed his face to his army, and now they are building a new strategy. The Normans tricked the English into thinking that they were, मतलब वो लोग वापस जाने वाले बैटल से, रिट्रीट करने वाले हैं. देन फिर जैसे उन लोगों को लगा कि अच्छा ये लोग रिट्रीट करने वाले, तो चलो फिर वो लोग ऐसे पलट कर सबको मारने लगे जो भी उन लोग के पास आ रहे थे. ठीक है, लाइक वी कैन से कि हल्का महाभारत टाइप समथिंग हो गया था यहाँ पर. ओके, एंड इवेंचुअली हैरल्ड वाज आल्सो किंग with the infamous arrow in the eye, according to the history. Now, death of Harold marked the death of English as well. Although William had won decisively, और बीच में और भी कुछ कुछ events हुए थे which is not that important according to English literature, and eventually he was crowned in London on Christmas Day in 1066 and 1087 AD, and he oversaw many changes in the English way of life. Now let's see the legacy, like when after Norman conquest क्या क्या changes हुए या क्या चीज़ हुई, नई चीज़ हुई. So हुआ क्या था, जैसे किंग रिप्लेस हुआ, एंग्लो सैक्सन किंग, पीपल तो रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकते, सो इसीलिए इस पीरियड को एंग्लो नॉर्मन पीरियड भी अब बोला जाएगा अभी के बाद से. सो सबसे पहले क्या हुआ कि सारे जो टाइज थे, सारे जो विद जो एलाई थी उनकी स्कैंडिनेविया, उसे सारे टाइज दे broke the ties, sorry. And England was brought closer to the influence of France and Western Europe. Of course, France, because Normandy is a region in France. So, of course, that. अब castle building to they build castle to control the countryside. Of course, जितने castle और domes like structure we see over there, सब नॉर्मन के बाद से ही ये सारे चीज़ बनने शुरू हुए थे. Now Norman nobles replaced Anglo-Saxons. Obviously, this was going to happen. Feudal system of land tenure ये आया. फिर barons provided land in exchange for loyalty, military and service taxes. फिर barons के जो नीचे जो कास्ट के लोग थे वो भी ऐसे ही करते थे. फिर ऐसे करते करते ये चलते आ रहा था. You can relate this with like Indian culture में जो था, lower caste, higher caste कैसे कैसे क्या करते थे, like it's almost same. So you can write anything if this comes in your exam. Courts introduced normal trials by compact for criminals. Okay, this was also done. और हाँ, एंग्लो सैक्सन टाइम का जो लॉ था, वो लॉ नहीं, वी कैन से दैट गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम जो था वो पहले से ही वेल डेवलप्ड था, तो इसलिए उसमें कुछ चेंजेस नहीं किए गए. कुछ कुछ चेंजेस बस हुए, जैसे विटनेसेस, जैसे अपना गवाही को प्रूव करने के लिए या अपनी बेगुनाही को प्रूव करने के लिए देयर वर विटनेसेस. नाउ church hierarchy was reorganized because of course Anglo-Saxon से पहले ये थे Romans, so of course the Roman influence was also there, church was also there. Anglo-Saxon officials were replaced by bishops and abbots. Founding of monasteries including Battle Abbey in Hastings, ये monasteries भी इन्होंने फाइंड किया. फिर influence in English language. अब इस टाइम पे schools were also set up, एजुकेशन पे ध्यान दिया गया. फिर जैसे इस टाइम पे लाइक पहले क्या था एंग्लो सैक्सन पीरियड में, दैट जो एजुकेशन था या फिर जो स्टोरीज थे वो सारे लाइक ओरली पास होते थे. अब यहाँ पे रिटन वर्क आना शुरू हुआ. वी कैन सी दैट 1275 में द फर्स्ट ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंट वाज रिटन इन एंग्लो नॉर्मन. Okay, so that's it for the lesson of Anglo Norman period or Norman conquest. So if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe, and if anything, any queries or whatever it is there, please mention in the comment section. Thank you and have a wonderful day everyone.